Hi everybody. What I'd like to do right now is to talk about our syllabus for the class. So the first thing I want you to do is to make sure you've got the right syllabus. We're talking right now about the undergraduate syllabus, so please make sure you're working off of that syllabus if you're an undergrad. So the beginning of the syllabus is just the same old stuff, the course description, standards alignment, the outcomes for the class. I really want you to come out of this class with a real sense of how to create a technology integration plan for the classroom you'll be working in, or maybe some of you are already working in classes and you can start to implement this. If you're heading into student teaching, hopefully you'll come out with some ideas that you can use in your student teaching and then again later into your own classroom. So I think and I think we will. I think we'll all learn something. So the first place we want to stop is in the text section because you'll be required to get the text Blended Learning in grades 4 to 12. I didn't order it through the bookstore. You can order it online. You can get the Kindle version. You can get a used copy if you want to. You'll need to have the book pretty much read by the third or fourth week. I mean, I've spread it out over the course, but you'll want to be reading Tucker's work before it. There's also quite a bit of stuff already on Blackboard for you as well. You'll be required to read that. So while you're waiting for Tucker's book to come in, if you got the hard copy, you can use the Blackboard material. Her website is also excellent, and I'll talk to you about that later on. You'll also need to download the ISTE standards and the Massachusetts Curriculum Framework. Please have both of those downloaded or bookmarked so that you can access them. These are hyperlinked so you can get at them pretty quickly. Make sure you have the right technology for the class. We'll be doing stuff where you want to be using a mobile device. I'm assuming that all of you have a mobile device if you're taking an online class. You'll be able to access the class through your tablet, iPad, whatever tablet you have, and then your laptop. And so, because we want to talk about how we use these in the classroom. You'll also need to get establish a professional Twitter account and a professional Instagram. I have a professional Twitter account and Instagram. They are what I use for sort of establishing my digital media presence and also for sharing some of the work that I do. You'll also make sure that the accounts that you share with all of us are your professional accounts, not your personal accounts, unless you decide that that's what you want to do. That's completely up to you, but I would recommend as a teacher that you have professional accounts. You'll also need to create a web site for this class, and the web hosting services that most of my students use are either Weebly or Wix. You can also use WordPress or Google Sites, but I think Weebly and Wix my students have had the best success with. If you already have a website that you've created for another class, or you just simply have that, you simply have a website for your personal use, you can just add on the materials that are required for this class and use those websites that you already have. It doesn't really matter to me. I just want you to have the components of the website that I ask you to create. So here are the assignments for the class. The biggest one in my mind is the threaded discussion because it'll be ongoing throughout the class. It'll be the way that we communicate with each other, and it's the place that I've kind of put a lot of that communication in. The website is worth 20%, and there is a checklist on Blackboard for you to go over, and you can ask me any questions that you have when we either meet at a Google Hangout, or you can just email me a question or send it to me via Remind, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. You'll also be creating a technology integration plan, and I'll explain that to you as we go through more details. So, the threaded discussion. The threaded discussion is going to begin with our introductions. You'll find that my introduction is already up there with my very, very rough video of myself, and that and it's in Screencast-O-Matic. That's what I used. I liked it. It's available for free, so I like free. Who doesn't like free? So I would ask that you create one as well and share it with our class. Post it onto Blackboard in our threaded discussion section that'll be labeled Introductions and Screencasts. And I will ask you to do that by May 25th, which is Thursday of the coming week. That's the very first part of this threaded discussion. The second part is I will post a topic, and it will be you'll have some reading to do around it, and then answering some questions and posting your thoughts. That's going to be posted on Sunday, 5/21, which is today. Well, actually, I'm doing this on Saturday, so it's tomorrow. And you need to access that, and I'll ask you to respond to that by 5/24. And then I'll ask you to respond to one of your colleagues' postings. I'll respond to everybody, but I'll ask you to respond to one of your colleagues' postings by 5/28. I'll post a second threaded discussion on 5/28, and it will be under week 2. This one's under week 1, so this is under week 2. Again, I'll ask you to respond to that by 5/31, and then respond to your colleagues by 6/4. You'll be leading a threaded discussion. I'll explain that in detail below. The due dates for it are 6/10 and 6/18. You'll be able to pick that date when you pick your topic. When you pick your topic, you'll be responding to 3 of your colleagues. You must do that within 2 days of their response. We'll also have a Google Hangout. Well, I'll run 2 of them. One will be in week 2 and one will be in week 5. And I'll ask that you participate in at least one of them. If you participate in 2 of them, it'll be just extra credit. So these are the directions for the threaded discussion. You will post an introduction. That introduction will be written and a screencast, just like I've done. I will post 2 threaded discussions, one in week 1 and one in week 2. You'll be expected to respond to each of my postings and to comment on at least one of your colleagues' responses. I want to use this as a way for us to model classroom discussion, and it would be a way for you to lead a discussion, an online discussion, and I hope you'll see all of the techniques I use in this class as models for what you can do in your own classroom. So the next piece of this is really, I think, a great, I don't know, I love this part of it because I get to learn from you. And what I'm going to ask each of you to do is to lead a threaded discussion. So remember, if you go back up here, the due dates are 6/10 and 6/18, and you can pick which day you want your material, your threaded discussion posted by. So I'll ask you to lead a threaded discussion. Your threaded discussion should include 2 resources. At least one of those must be text. It can either be an article, a website, or some kind of online link, and the other may be text or it can be a video. Obviously, all of this should be easily accessible online. Please include these resources in the text of your discussion. You should also include in that discussion questions and your thoughts and what you want your respondents to think about. The threaded discussion may be on a topic of your choice, or you may choose from one of the following. And these are first come, first serve. We're not going to do any duplicates. So you can choose drones in the classroom, makerspaces, game-based learning, the digital divide or the digital gap, using social media in the classroom, STEM or STEAM and technology, technology in the primary grades, or a topic of your choice. What I'll do is I will send out an email to everyone. I will ask that you respond to everyone in the email and let me know what your choice of a topic is and what your due date will be, either June 10th or June 18th. Remember, it's if you have some area that you're really interested in or something you've seen done in a classroom, I'm really open to your choices and I'm really looking forward to them. The technology website, there's a checklist on Blackboard. The due date for this is 6/18. I'm going to share your websites with the class and I'll post those to Blackboard so you can all see them. I'll also post examples of websites that previous students have done for me for this class. And finally is the technology integration plan. You will receive 40 points for this, 25 points for your paper, and 15 points for your presentation. The due date for this is 6/26. So you will develop a year-long plan. It should be 5 to 7 pages to utilize digital and mobile technology for the school year. Now, I want to say something about this right away, about this 5 to 7 pages, because I know people get hung up on like how long their paper has to be. What I envision is something that is a useful document for you. So if this looks like a lot of bulleted points and tables for how you're going to integrate, that's fine. It doesn't have to be a big long narrative. What I'm interested in is a plan, and however it is useful to you to outline that plan. So this can be done just as it says here, chart, table, bulleted form. It should be a format that's useful to you as a teacher. For those of you who are elementary students, you can either plan for one subject for the school year or 2 subjects each for a half year. So for example, as an elementary teacher, I taught, math, reading, science, social studies. So maybe I'm going to look at the social studies curriculum for the year for my 4th grade class. That means I need to know what the Massachusetts framework is for 4th grade social studies. That's where that downloading the standards comes in. And I want to plan just for my social studies class for the year, what are the major topics I'm going to teach and what's my plan for that whole year for 4th grade. Or maybe I say I would like to do science and I would like to do math. So what I'm going to do is plan for the first half of the year for math, and I'm going to take the major topics I'm going to cover in math the first half of the school year, and in the second half of the year I'm going to look at science, and I'm going to cover the major topics that will be covered in the science curriculum in the second half of the school year for my 4th grade class, or my 3rd grade, or my 1st grade classroom, whichever you are interested in. If you're an early childhood person, I would suggest that you look at technology. I think you'll find it easier and with a greater variety of technology and a greater variety of opportunity for your students to learn at about the 1st or 2nd grade level. There's a lot available for pre-K, K, and K, but it's more, there's less creativity for the students. You're going to have less of, they're going to be less developmentally ready to create technology-based materials. Okay, so you need to get an okay with me before you start your plan. You need to address the needs of all your learners, and you need to have at least 10 technology integration activities throughout this plan. So I don't expect it for every day of the week or every week, but 10 technology integration activities. These are not full lesson plans, but rather specific ways you will integrate technology into your classroom during the school year. And I have some examples here. Okay, the final part of this is that I would like you to create a PowerPoint, screencast, or explain everything, or whatever way you want to do it, but to present your technology plan to the class. And really it'll be at the end of our time together, so this will be presented to me. Okay, I'm running out of time because screencast only goes for 15 minutes.